Welcome to Catalyzing Change Week. This year's Catalyzing Change Week is about solutions from the front lines by social innovators.
In 2022, Catalyst 2030 concentrated its efforts on bringing proximate leaders and frontline solutions to the forefront. Collaborations led by members from the Global South produced groundbreaking reports on climate and transforming education, with an emphasis on offering local solutions. We continued our mission to create an enabling environment for social entrepreneurs to flourish by initiating a letter to donors, signed by more than 1,200 social entrepreneurs and innovators. The Catalyst 2030 awards ceremony was spectacular, and the awards themselves welcomed by the private sector, governments, bio multilaterals and donors.
Catalyst 2030 as a movement is disruptive.
One of the best things I think that's come out of Catalyst 2030 so far is incredible collaboration across the ecosystem that just didn't exist before Catalyst came into being.
The thing I love most about Catalyst is that it's an open movement for social entrepreneurs around the world.
I'd encourage anyone who's looking to be more connected with their local communities around social development goals to come along to Catalyzing Change Week.
Welcome to Catalyzing Change Week.
We would like to thank Catalyst 2030 and Winifred for sharing this video and for giving us the opportunity to share our work with the audience today. We can now start the session. I would like to invite Bijon from Adhyan Foundation to start us off.
Thank you, Atulya. Hello and welcome everyone. I am Bijan and I have Risika with me. And we are the host for your for next 1 hour. We work with Adhyan Quality Education Foundation and are joining you today from Tripura and Arunachal Pradesh in India, respectively.
Before starting out, let us set norms for the day to make our session fruitful. We request everyone to keep themselves muted through the session to avoid background disturbances. Those who can switch on their videos, that would be really great. Also, if you have any questions or comments, you could put them in the chat or raise your hands, as we would encourage the conversations to be very interactive. You can use the reactions button below throughout to share how you are feeling as you hear the speakers. Also, we have a dedicated Q&A time at the end of the session where your questions will be discussed.
Atulya, can you help our audience with the translation, please?
Sure. I'm so sorry. My internet died a little bit. So as you might be aware, most of the speakers today in this session will be speaking in Bengali. Now, we recognize that a lot of our audiences do not understand Bengali. So Catalyst 2030 has been very kind enough to offer us translation services. You can avail them by going on the bottom right corner where you'll see this icon which says interpretation. When you click on interpretation, languages will appear. You can choose English. Then you can mute the original audio or listen to them simultaneously to avail these translation services. In case you have any trouble, kindly let us know and we'll help you out.
Divya, can you go to the next slide?
Thanks, Divya and Atulya. Here I would like to introduce Adhyan. We are a team of educators dedicated to enabling leaders in education to answer the question, how do we know our schools are good and what will we do to make them good? Our work hinges on multiple stakeholders in the government education system, developing a shared vision of what good schools look like that they can collectively measure and work together to achieve. Divya, can you go to the next slide? Thank you. As we start the event for today, I request Bijon to please share the concept of school complex, programmatic details, and who we work with.
Thank you, Rishika. So a school complex is a semi-autonomous unit of schools consisting of higher secondary school and its neighboring high, middle, and primary schools that collectively undertakes administrative work, resource sharing, and developing comprehensive school level and complex level development plans to drive improvement. In the NEP 2020, it is recognized that the schools cannot function in isolation and would benefit from having a community of feeder schools to work together with. By working as a composite unit, the school prevents the journey of a child from being a fragmented. In Tripura, there are 126 school complexes which are operational in the districts of Dhalai and South Tripura, covering a total of 1459 schools in 2 districts. These complexes are managed by the complex leaders who are the headmasters, assistant headmasters, or teacher in charges of higher secondary or senior basic schools in some cases. These complexes are supported by the system leaders like the district education officer, block project coordinators, block resource persons, and a cluster resource person. Now that we have given you some context on the functioning of school complexes in Tripura, we can formally introduce our speakers to you.
Thank you, Bijon. Joining us are Subir Mojumdar, sir, who is working as a district project coordinator in charge in South Tripura district. He has joined as a postgraduate teacher in 1990. He is responsible for monitoring educational, administrative, and legal activities for schools in his district under the Department of Education. He has joined as a district education officer in charge in South Tripura in 2022. We also have with us Jatan Dev Barma sir, who is working as the district education officer of Dhalai. He is a resident of Dhalai and has been working here since the beginning of the service. He has completed a master's in history and he started working as a senior postgraduate teacher in history, and later he became an HM, OSD education, and later the district education officer. Next, we have Ranjan Devnath, sir. He's the assistant headmaster of Sabroom Girls HS and a complex leader in South Tripura district. With 25 years of teaching experience, he has overseen a diverse group of primary, middle, high, and secondary schools. In addition, he is a SCRT resource person at the School Leadership Academy and EduSet. We also have Mr. Abhijit Bhomik, sir, who started his career as a PGT chemistry. He has been working in the sector for last 18 years, and now he is working as a vice principal of Kamalpur Government English Medium School. He has been a complex leader of Morachora complex and is mentoring KC Girls complex currently. And he believes that a true teacher always encourages his students to do better in life. Ranjan Malik, sir, who is currently the block project coordinator and inspector of schools in education inspectorate of Salema block. He has been supporting the complexes of Salema block in Dhalai to realize their potential and achieve their Shala Siddhi goals.
Next, we have Pranav Sarkar, sir, who is working as the block project coordinator in Bokafa block of South Tripura. He started his teaching career as a teacher in 1995 in Dhalai. His main responsibility is to supervise the schools in his block by visiting and supervising whether the school laws and regulations are followed properly. Then we have Mukunda Bonik, sir, school in charge of Joykumar Rojapara SB school for past 2 years. He is an active school complex management committee member of Cholita Bankul complex of Rupaichari block of South Tripura. Mukunda Bonik has been teaching since 2010. At last, we have Sukladev ma'am, who has been working as the block resource person in the Chamanu block of Dhalai Tripura for past 10 years. She has been a mentor for Dhanyaram KP, Bhangamura, Choilangta, Bakchara complexes in the Longtrai Valley subdivision of Dhalai.
Thank you so much, Bijon. Before we get started with the discussion, we have one quick question for you. Please write your response on the given link by Aniket and Divya in the chat. The questions are, question is what is the need of school complex? You can share your responses by going to the link shared in the chat.
Divya, can you look at the response sheet?
Thank you for sharing your responses. We can see some of the responses on the screen, such as break the isolation of schools, knowledge sharing, sharing of resources, support mechanism.
Thank you everyone for your responses. Now I would request Mr. Abhijit Bhaumik, who was the ex-complex leader of Morachara complex and led 11 schools in the complex, to share about his views about the need of a school complex. Abhijit sir.
স্যার শোনা যাচ্ছে তো স্যার?
হ্যাঁ স্যার, প্লিজ।
আচ্ছা, গুড আফটারনুন এভরিওয়ান। তো একটা স্কুল কমপ্লেক্সের কি দরকার বা কি প্রয়োজনীয়তা সে সম্পর্কে আমি কিছু বলতে যাচ্ছি। প্রথমত আমরা যারা যে সমস্ত স্কুল শহর থেকে একটু দূরে, একটু ভিতরের দিকে, সেই সমস্ত স্কুলগুলি নিজেকে একটু একাকী।
I think Abhijit is chatting.
হ্যালো।
হ্যাঁ স্যার বলেন।
আচ্ছা, তো শহর থেকে যে সমস্ত স্কুল একটু দূরে, সেই সমস্ত স্কুল প্রায় নিজেকে একটু একা একা ফিল করে, যে তাদের হয়তো সাহায্য করার কেউ নেই বা কোনো একটা হেল্প লাগলে তারা সহজেই সেটা পেতে পারে না, এরকম একটা ফিলিংস আছে। তো স্কুল কমপ্লেক্স যদি হয় তাহলে আমার মনে হয় যে সমস্ত স্কুলগুলি যে একটা চেইনের মধ্যে থাকে, তাহলে কোনো স্কুল যেগুলো একটু দুর্বল স্কুল বা যাদের রিসোর্স একটু কম আছে, ওনারা একটু কনফিডেন্স পাবেন এবং কনফিডেন্স বিল্ড হবে ওনাদের মধ্যে, নিজেকে একা ভাববেন না। এটা হচ্ছে একটা পয়েন্ট। এবং স্কুল কমপ্লেক্স যখনই আমরা মিটিং এ করি, এই মিটিং এর মধ্যে এই যে একটু দুর্বল স্কুলগুলি, ওনারা ওনাদের যে বিভিন্ন দুর্বলতাগুলি সেগুলি সবার সঙ্গে শেয়ার করেন, প্রত্যেক স্কুলই শেয়ার করেন। এইভাবে শেয়ারিং এর মাধ্যমে ওনার একটা কনফিডেন্স আছে যে না, আমি একা নই, আমার সঙ্গে হেল্প করার জন্য আরো অনেকগুলো স্কুল আছে, হায়ার সেকেন্ডারি হোক বা সেকেন্ডারি হোক, সেই স্কুলগুলি আমাকে হেল্প করবে। তো একটা কনফিডেন্স প্রত্যেক স্কুল লিডারের মধ্যে।
স্যার আপনার ভয়েস শোনা যাচ্ছে না।
ছিল।
হ্যাঁ, একটু লাস্ট লাইনটা রিপিট করেন।
হ্যাঁ, তো এই যে একটা চেইনের মধ্যে, যদি একটা কমপ্লেক্সের মতো একটা চেইনের মধ্যে যদি স্কুলগুলি থাকে, তাহলে কোনো স্কুলই নিজেকে আর একাকী ফিল করবে না এবং ওরা ভাববে যে না, আমার যে কোনো অসুবিধায় একটা ফ্যামিলির মতো সবাই সবাইকে হেল্প করবে। তার মধ্যে একটা কনফিডেন্স তৈরি হবে প্রত্যেক স্কুল লিডারের মধ্যে। এটার জন্য স্কুল কমপ্লেক্স দরকার। দ্বিতীয়ত আমরা দেখেছি যে এখানে শেয়ারিং অফ মেটেরিয়ালস, সে সম্পর্কে আমার খুব ভালো অভিজ্ঞতা। যেমন আমাদের স্কুলে কম্পিউটার আছে, তো আমাদের পাশের স্কুলে কম্পিউটার নেই। তো যখনই ছেলে মেয়েদের বেনিফিশিয়ারি কোড বানাতে হতো, তখন ওরা আমাদের যে কম্পিউটার আছে সেই কম্পিউটারটা ইউজ করতো। তো এইভাবে আরো অনেক কিছুই, যেমন আমাদের প্লে গ্রাউন্ড নেই, তো আমরা যখন অ্যানুয়াল স্পোর্টস করি তখন আমরা অন্য স্কুলের মাঠের সাহায্য নিই, অন্য স্কুলের সাহায্য নেই। এভাবে শেয়ারিং অফ মেটেরিয়ালস হতে পারে, এই জন্যই স্কুল কমপ্লেক্সও দরকার। এরপর আমার যেটা মনে হয় যে যখন স্কুল কমপ্লেক্স তৈরি হবে, তখন যেহেতু একটা স্কুলের দরকারে অন্য স্কুল থেকে টিচার্স
complex established, so at that moment the teachers from the other schools will join to the complex. And for example, if any school lacks a proper English teacher or mathematics teacher, the school can seek support from the school who have additional teacher who teaches English or mathematics. so they can get the support from that particular schools. So, and we saw that in similar, in some cases where students don't get interest to come to school due to lack of quality teacher. So if we can make a school complex and bring all the schools as part of the complex, we can share the resource. So in that case, if we can include all the schools in the complex, I believe that the the attendance of the students will increase, because they will feel that they have better teachers. So the teacher can share their knowledge with the other teachers who don't have much of advanced education knowledge. So they can share, they can learn themselves, and this method can be applied into their schools. So this method, and at the same time, in this process, the student can get to learn these new methods, and they can get benefited, and that's how the school can get benefited, and the overall school attendance will increase. And at the same time, if for example, if there is a teacher from the city school, they come to a village school complex. So if they share the strategy, the advanced teaching strategy, so they can share it. And so in that case, the complex can be a proper media to connect the teachers from different parts to share their knowledge, to share their teaching methods. And another example that I would like to share, that, for example, in our school, we had a teacher of science teacher and a history teacher who was missing due to his sickness. So we try to get support from teachers of another school who are also part of this school complex. And we try to find this teacher who knows, who teaches science or history. So we try to get their support to replace our sick teachers. So this is how we can get benefited from school complex. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for sharing
ধন্যবাদ আপনাকে।
a school complex. I really like the idea how you said that the school complex can bring the schools closer and help them share the human resources in the school. Now, I would request that, so the district has the largest stake to play in the school complexes. And in Dhalai, there are 814 government schools under 69 complexes, and they are managed by the district education office in Dhalai. So Mr. Jatan Dev Burma is the district education officer in Dhalai. And now I would request Jatan sir to share about the need of a school complex. Jatan sir. Okay, we have a representative from district education office. Miss Ramona ma'am, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, so can you share Jatan sir's responses? I think he is busy in some other meeting. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of DEO Dhalai, I am sharing some ideas regarding the need of school complex. So first of all, collaboration means the sharing of resources or expertise to improve the quality of education in a particular area or district. And this is the first point. And second one is through school complexes, we can pool the resources like human resource or other facilities like playground, teaching learning materials, and then other facilities among the group of schools under a certain complex for providing better facilities or services to the disadvantaged students. And third one is school complexes enables the district to improve education quality and ensure access to resources and support for all students. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for sharing about the needs of the school complex. I'll thank both Abhijit sir and Ramona ma'am. Now I'd request Atulya to share another link of the Mentimeter on the chat for everyone. So here we will be addressing the question like, what do you think? How do you think the school complex function? I would request everyone to go to the link and share their responses.
Hi, while everybody shares their answers, I'll let you know that the translation services are available. There, you can avail them by clicking on the bottom right icon, which says translation. It should be on the menu bar below, and then selecting the language, English.
While everybody in the audience is submitting their response, Rishika, can you tell me who do you think plays the pivotal role in functioning of a school complex?
I think it would be the complex leader.
And who is a complex leader?
So complex leader is responsible for overall working of the school complex. He or she is the head of the complex and is accountable for overall activities of the school.
Thank you, Rishika. So I also agree that the school complex leader plays an important role in the functioning of a school complex. Before we go to our next speaker, can we look at some of the responses? So here you can see that the school complex function in a collaborative way, and mostly where the hub helps the with the help of the complex leaders. So now we'll go to our next speaker, who is Ranjan Debnath sir, who is the complex leader of Subroom Complex, supporting 14 schools. I would request him to share about the functioning of a school complex. Ranjan sir. Ranjan sir.
Okay, I can start now.
Yeah.
So very good afternoon to all my speakers. It is a privilege for me to be the part of this whole program. To me, the school complex under NEP 2020, this very much concept of the school complex brought the faculties of a neighborhood together, and also it did help or has been helping us to interrupt the terrible isolation under each school at present in our South District, and also like with other schools during a particular area. For example, in our Shabrum Nagar Panchayat, where my school is there, my complex is there, for raising the standard of education, and also the arrange similar units throughout our South District. To me also, this school complex also did enable an identical group of teachers, or we can call the faculties, working during a neighborhood to form a cooperative effort to enhance the standards. An earlier speaker also did rightly point out about that this complex provided a scope for sharing of instructional work among the various schools. For example, in my Shabrum Girls School Complex, we have 14 number of schools are there under the Adhayan Foundation. I mean, our school complex functions in like a different way. When the school complex concept came into existence, And what we have seen under the that not only we can share the resources, but we are sharing the expert teachers' expertise or skills with other schools. The school complexes, we do have the support visit, help the other schools to enhance their teaching skills, their quality, and also to help them a new plan for the upgradation of the schools. And this school complex also provides us to have a new plan of action come out from the schools. The schools now have liberty to have a new plan of action. What should be the course of action for 2 or 3 months? What will be our strategy? What will be our target? And when the schools will come out or have come out with the school action plans, then we go for the comprehensive complex action plan. So this way our school complex, not only our school complex in the South District, each and every school complex is functioning in the same way with comprehensive action plan. And through the implementation of the school action plan, we can upgrade our level. We are upgrading our level 1 to level 2. We can reach one standard to higher standard. We can see the improvement journey through this whole complex plan. So I do think as a complex leader in our South District, all the school complexes are functioning in the same way under the umbrella of the Odhayan Foundation. So for me, this concept has given us a new dimension to enhance the quality of education. I mean, to expertise them to school as a learning organization. So this is my journey as a complex leader, and also this is my sharing before all of you. Thank you very much.
Bijon, you are on mute.
Sorry. Thank you, sir, for sharing with our audience about how the school complex functions. It was really interesting to hear the insights from you and how you shared the schools are able to work cooperatively under the school complex to improve the educational standards. And that is, I think, is really insightful for the audience. So in order for the school complexes to function well, the district officials plays a key role. In South Tripura district, there are 626 government schools, and these are overseen by the district education officer. Now, I would request Mr. Subir Majumdar, district education officer of South Tripura, to share about how the school complex functions and how he supports the school complex in its functioning.
Good afternoon, everybody. Actually, I was not in the beginning. I was in a meeting. I've just come and joined. I'm very privileged to give opportunity to attend this type of meeting. See, actually, I heard the neighbor complex actually, when I was OSD in this district, during that period, I heard the word complex, and after that I went to Gomti district to act as DO, and there I heard that. But I'm from actually from South District, and that's why I heard that at that time that in South District they are going to introduce new project that is named complex. And one of the key school at that time was, I heard that is Tuttakola. And actually, the idea of complex after joining in this district, I directly actually do work with the Oddayan and other persons actually who are at that time doing their job as complex leader. So earlier there was actually in Chomo SSA there was one term like complex. There was one group that is called CRC, the Cluster Resource Center. This complex is looking like that, but in CRC there were only inspection was there. Nothing was there, inspection and using of funding, etc. was there. But in complex, I have actually experienced that they are trying to develop the quality education. Actually trying to share the experience of the good teachers, sharing the materials among the teachers, and try to actually communicate directly to benefit the actually students, directly to the students. This is the actually good point for the setting complex in whole over the district. Actually, earlier there was 10 complexes. Last year, actually, we have formed another 47. In total, now 57 complexes in our district and covering all the schools. 627 schools are there, and in our district, I think in one complex there are 19 schools, and it is very large number of schools are in that complexes. And we have actually discussed regarding this with the NGO partners to reduce the number from 19 to they are about 10, so that they can do the work properly. And Ranjan Babu said earlier that they are working very hard, and I think Ranjan Babu, like in Shabrum particularly, and in Bilonia, some places of in Bilonia, the complex leaders are doing very good job. And all are not doing job; they are doing their job correctly, but some are doing their job very well, and that's why actually complex now is working in very good in our district. So I hope that complex actually in our district, their work, our school complex leader along with the NGO partner who are they are doing their job very good. They are doing very good job, and I hope that in future the target that is that the fulfilling the Sola Siddhi. It is very actually it is to achieve this. It's very tough. Spite of this, in our district, some complex leaders, hard work actually they get the actually from the level one. Now it's coming. They achieve the level two. And I hope that in future schools will level two, level one or two will achieve level two, and sharing of experience as well as the sharing of materials, resources, that will continue, and in future our district will do better. Thank you.
Pigeon, you are on mute.
Thank you, Suvit sir, for explaining to our audience how the complexes are working in the district of South Tripura and how they are working to bring the schools to a higher standard. Now, I would like Aniket to share another link on the Mentimeter on the chat for everyone. And now we'll be trying to answer the question that what are the key challenges in running school complex? I would request everyone to go to the link and enter their responses. While everyone is sharing the responses in the chat, Rishika, can you tell me who are the key persons who support these complexes in their functioning?
Yeah, I think it would be the system leaders. For example, the block project coordinators and the block resource persons.
Thank you, Rishika. I also agree that the system leaders have a key role to play in the smooth functioning of the school complex. So now we'd like them to share about the challenges they face and how they can mitigated them. Before going to the speakers, can you look at some responses? Divya, can you share the screen so that you can read some of the responses? No, not this one, the next one. Yeah, so here are some challenges that we see over here. I think mostly what we see is geographical challenges, and there are also logistical challenges and resource mobilization. So taking these points forward, I would like our system leaders to talk about what are the challenges they face in ensuring that the school complexes are functioning. So between the complex and the district, there lies a crucial administrative body, the block. The block has a key role to play in supporting the complex. I would thus request Ranjan Malik sir and Pranav Sarkar sir, the block project coordinators of Salema and Bokafa blocks respectively, to share about the key challenges in running the school complex and how they can be mitigated. Mr. Ranjan Malik oversees 7 complexes, whereas Mr. Pranav Sarkar sir oversees 8 complexes. I would start with Pranav sir. I would request Pranav sir to share his response. Pranav sir.
Good afternoon, everybody. As a block project coordinator হিসাবে স্কুল কমপ্লেক্স নিয়ে কাজ করতে গিয়ে আমার যেটা অভিজ্ঞতা হয়েছে যে গত 1.5-2 বছর যাবত স্কুল কমপ্লেক্স কাজ করছে।
The block project coordinators have been working for last 1 and 2 years with different school complexes. So I felt like the complex leader received training from the
কাজ করবে এবং এর মাধ্যমে কিভাবে স্কুলের ডেভেলপমেন্ট করা যায়।
Will work with the complex and how the complex can support the schools to enhance their education. In most of the cases, the school head or the vice head teacher, so they are being consulted in this process. But my point is only the headmaster or assistant headmaster is not sufficient enough to understand to make it more effective. So we need to involve all the teachers. So in that case, I would like to share that if we can engage every teachers from the school in this training process, so that will be an advantage. And in many school complexes, we see in many school they are under the ADC school, they're under the ADC school. So to instruct the ADC school, so we need to involve the joint project director more and more. We need to engage them so that those schools are lagging behind can also take the advantage and can speed up this process, and they need to get the proper instruction. So the joint block project coordinator need to be involved with those schools. So apart from that, if we can, for example, 3 or 4 complex, if we can include 3 or 4 complex, and then we can have one person from Adhan Foundation, that would be more effective. And so one person can coordinate with 3 or 4 complexes. So in that case, I would recommend to ensure more resources from the foundation, because it's difficult for limited for the persons to coordinate so many school complexes. And then the people, when we are visiting schools, so if you can have ensure some fund, or at least if we can provide some fund for the block level or district level, so that for the transportation or the visit to the school complex, so we can have some support. So because otherwise it's getting very difficult for the block level, because from the block level we need to travel to the complex, so there is the transportation cost. So that's also another support that we would request. So this financial support is very, very much required. And at the same time, complex head also needs some support, because he or she needs to travel from his or her school to the complex place. So these are some of my findings or challenges that I faced, and that I would also seek support from our authorities, so that we can overcome with these challenges. Thank you very much.
About the key challenges, that is with the personnel and with the finance and the logistic challenges that the school complexes are facing, and how they can be addressed. Now I would request Ranjan sir to share about the challenges in running the school complexes.
Good afternoon, everybody. I myself, Ranjan Malik, Inspector of Schools, Salema, and as well as Block Project Coordinator, Salema. I'm very happy and feel privileged that. Hello?
Yes, sir, you're audible. You can continue.
Okay, thank you. So, be a part of this speakers. Basically, in Salema block, let me talk to little about Salema block. In Salema block, 7 complexes are there, and my topic of discussion is about the problems that or challenges that we have gone through while participating in different programs related to complexes. First of all, let me tell you one thing. Most of the schools of Dalai district are situated in the far-flung area. Geographically, we are in the terrain, so transport facilities are not smooth as compared to other parts of our state. And that is why to monitor all the problems, not only by our system readers, even by mentor assessors also, if they used to go from one place to another place, that is from one school to another school within the same complex, then also they need a support of vehicle. And most of the mentor assessors of our block, they several times came to me asking for vehicle support. But this is very unfortunate that the BPCs are not able to provide them their demand due to lack of funds. So in this regard, what I feel, this is a good platform to discuss all these things, that this problem may be mitigated if the authority must consider to provide support of vehicles for the different personnels related to this program, that is school complex. For that, some extra fund is raised by our director, sir, then we will be able to provide them their requested demand. So this is number one. Secondly, if we see same thing, financial constraint is there. That is why the activities that has been conducted in different parts of our, not only in our district, even in South also, we are facing problem. So I think there may be some solution of that. We have CRCs, and basically the concept the school complexes are also related to CRCs. CRC have some funds, but to utilize that fund, though the fund is not enough, but to utilize that fund, if special order or direction came out from the authority or the director staff, then probably some fund should be shifted from other activities to school complexes. and or else the special fund may be raised or sanctioned for this purpose in CRC level. And now another point, let me share with you. That one is mentor assessors need to move from one school to another school. And in our Dholai district, as I am working in this district, we know that we are facing lacking of teachers. That is a very good problem that we are nowadays facing. Teachers are not that much enough in our district. If I take some examples, in some of the schools, say 2 teachers are there. Out of 2 teachers, one is selected as mentor assessor. Then he needs to go to different schools under the same complex. In that regard, the existing school from where he belonged to is somehow get affected. So for that, to choose the mentor assessors, we need to focus on the strength of the resources in that particular school also. If it seems that the school has only 3 or 2 teachers, then probably we have to shift the mentor assessors from that school to another school, so that the school which is chosen, in that school, number of teachers are more than 5 or more than 6. Few schools are there where more than 5 or 6 teachers are there. Then another issue is, this is also related to mentor assessors, because in our district, what we have seen, few teachers, there are some assistant teachers, even some contract teachers are also mentor assessors. We know that contract teachers, they are financially not that much incentivized to run his bread and butter, at the same time to mitigate the issues related to fund for executing the activities of school complex. So in that regard, if mentor assessors are incentivized, then probably better participation from them is expected. And another important issue that I have seen is regarding the appointment of mentor assessors. Mentor assessors should be chosen, what I feel, that one, because my topic of discussion is about the challenges that we have faced. So appointment of mentor assessors should be, it should be from system leaders like IS, Deputy IS, Circle Inspector of TTADC, HM High, AHM HS, or HMHS. If these designated officers are appointed, then they have their authority, and if they go to the school, respective school, then it will be in a systematic manner, that will run in a systematic manner. Why I say this? In few schools, even the mentor assessor himself came to me and they complained that, sir, when we went to a school, in that school, the teacher in charge is from our same rank, and he did not obey us. He did not obey in sense, sometimes as a mentor assessor, he may give some instruction also to run the program smoothly. Then in that case, they are so reluctant that they did not even listen to the mentor assessors, what he is saying. So that is why I said, for better performance or to get rid of such problem, then it can be taken as one of the solution to choose mentor assessors from the person, those who are stakeholders. So that's it, what I feel. And these are some points that I have gone through in our blog. And that's why I shared this. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for sharing.
Thank you, Ranjan sir, for sharing with our audience the key challenges in running the school complexes and how they can be mitigated. It is quite interesting to learn how we can use the services of inspectors of schools, CRCs and BRCs to monitor the school complexes. Now I would request Shukla Dev ma'am block resource person of Chaumunu block to share the challenges she faced while providing the ground level support to the complexes in her block and how she overcame those challenges.
Namaskar, ma'am.
Good afternoon. Am I audible?
Thank you, sir. Namaskar.
My name is Shukladev. I'm a block research person of Saumanu. Mentor associate হিসাবে I have been working with 4 complex. Being a mentor associate, so the challenges that I have faced so far, I will share today, and how I try to mitigate those challenges that I will share in a brief. As the BRP, of Samana block, so since I'm part of a block project office, so I've been working with Samana block and monoblock, both the block that I've been working with. So I'm working with, so when I work with the complex, so I face few challenges that I will share now. Firstly, so in our block project coordinator office, and in monoblock and Chamonoblock, the complex leader who we have, so we do meeting with the complex leader in the project office, and I join each and every meeting, and I do organize those meetings as well. While I organize the meeting, so I see there are some problems there. For example, if you organize any meeting in subdivision level, some complex leader cannot attend the meeting. So the complex leader cannot join the meeting, and instead of the person, the complex leader sends someone else. So in that case, whatever the subject that we discussed in the meeting, the message is not being delivered to the complex leader. So as a result, there is a communication, there is a lack of communication, and at that time the message is not being delivered to the complex leader. So in this case, so I try to inform the complex leader, but still sometimes I receive the phone call from the complex leader again, that what was the discussion, what is being discussed in last meeting. So at that moment, I again try to brief the complex leader about the meeting agent. So that's one of the problem that I usually face. And the secondly, so I have to go to visit different school to review what's being done there. So I face many geographical problems because I have to pay visit in different schools, and these schools are in very far, and it's been very difficult to travel those schools. I have a scooty with myself, and it's not possible to use travel with a car in those schools, and then sometimes I have to take a walk to reach to that school. So that's a very difficulties, and that's a huge challenge for me. But yeah, at the same time, I have the blessing of a teacher who try to help me to get into the school in my way. They always try to support me, and also sometimes they go with me to the schools. So that's how we resolve. At the same time, all the complex leaders, they are overburdened with their workload. So they are so busy. So, and as a result, when there is many work that needs to be done as part of the complex, the leader sometimes getting it difficult to concentrate and to perform those school complex work. So in that case, so I would recommend. So for example, if we can appoint someone dedicated to the complex, so that the person can perform the complex work, and if we can bring them and if we can brief them about their responsibilities, and if we do regular communication, in that case they might be able to perform the work of a school complex. Another problem that I faced when I visited any school for any support visit, for example, in one school, I heard from the principal that in their school there's 2 students who is absent for more than a month, and then the teacher shared with me that the parents of those students they used to go for work. As a result, they have also the small brothers and sisters. Those students need to take care of those small brothers. So as a result, they cannot attend this school. So in this case, we also went to that parents' home. So, and we talked to the parents and we talked to the guardians. So that they send their children to the school, and how we can support them, and how we can ensure that the students can come to school regularly. So I would like to share one of good story.
স্যার অনেকগুলি কি শোনা যাচ্ছে না স্যার আমার নেটওয়ার্ক চলে গিয়েছিল স্যার
ম্যাম শোনা যাচ্ছে
আচ্ছা আচ্ছা তো আমি বুঝতে পারছি না কোন জায়গা থেকে শোনা যায়নি
না না শোনা যাচ্ছে
আপনি বলছিলেন আনন্দের জায়গা
কি স্যার
আনন্দের জায়গা একটা আনন্দের জায়গা
আনন্দের বিষয় যেটা পরবর্তী সময়
I would
যখন
like to share one of my happy experience, that the next time when we went to the school for the visit again, we found that those 2 students they continue to join to attend the schools, and we met the students. They were very bright, and we talked to them. Now they have been attending school regularly, so that's a matter of joy for me and for us. So since we talked to the parents and guardians, so we took the teacher with us, and we try to motivate the parents. So and now it works, and as a BRP, so I could bring back 2 students to school. So it's a matter of joy for me. So this is the problem that I faced, and that's how I faced, and that's how I overcome those challenges. I mitigate those challenges. And I also would like to mention that so I don't just do communication with the 4 complex that I'm assigned with. Rather, I do communication and I do talk with all the complex leaders. So, and I try to help them. So I try to support them. So in every aspect so that they need. So that's how I try to support from my role, and that's how I do my work.
Challenges in supporting the school complexes and how they were mitigated. It was interesting to hear you share that how geographic challenges are faced due to the remote locations of the school. Next, I would request Mukunda Banik sir teacher in charge of Joycing Ruajapara SB School, South Tripura, to share a story of how the school complex enabled him to drive improvement in his school. I would also like to request Divya to play the snippet from the Mukunda sir's story.
Before starts, yeah, one request, because we have significantly overshot on time. I would request the upcoming speakers to please keep it brief so we keep track of time. Thank you.
Thank you, Atulya. মুকুন্দ স্যার, মুকুন্দ স্যার আপনি কি আছেন? মুকুন্দ স্যার আপনি মিউটে আছেন।
হ্যাঁ, হ্যালো স্যার।
হ্যাঁ বলেন স্যার।
হ্যাঁ, শুনতে পাচ্ছেন?
হ্যাঁ স্যার, হ্যাঁ শুনতে পাচ্ছি।
Yes, we can hear you. And namaste everyone. As a Joy Para's school in charge, so again, thanks everyone, all the teachers that are part of the complex, so district teacher, all the complex leader, all the teachers. So again, namaste everyone. So I'm starting my brief speech today.
আপনার ফোনের
এটা তো অনই আছে স্যার।
ওকে, ঠিক আছে।
ঠিক আছে স্যার, আপনি বলতে পারবেন।
আচ্ছা, তো 22 November 2021 ফার্স্ট জলেপা এসএস স্কুল আমাদের ওরিয়েন্টেশন প্রোগ্রাম হয় অধ্যয়ন ফাউন্ডেশনের
So
মাধ্যমে।
2022, so Adhan Foundation, so we got the orientation, the school complex. So at that moment, we got to know about the school complex and how it should be functioning, what are the benefits of the school complex. And once we get to know about the school complex concept, so I started to share this concept with all the schools. And 20 April 2022, so our school got the review, and then our school, so in our school there are 7 domains and there are 46 standards that we have in our school. So we selected the domain 2, and then we the domain that we have as teaching learning domain, so the correspondent that we have, so we selected that domain, and then we decided to work on enabling learning and environment. So that's what we decided to work on first, and then we decided to work on that, and then we started with a staff meeting. So those who will work with the learners, those who will work with the students, so those people need to be trained first. So then I tried to make our teacher understand. I did a meeting with our teacher and staffs and try to make them understand what they need to do and how they will perform and how they will involve in this learning process. At the very first, teachers still they had lack of understanding, and then again we met again. So I conducted a meeting again and then tried to make them understand again. And that moment, so they got to understand what will be their role being part of this enabling learning unit. So how they will involve these their teaching methods to enable the best learning practices, and then they started working on this process. They are now working on the lesson plan, how they can improve the education model and the education method. So that's what they are started doing, including the class observations. So also they are doing research of their teaching method. So this is how they are evolving, and the teacher understanding learners platform that is also a work that we did. So we try to understand how the learners is being impacted by the social standard and the social context. So that's also we try to analyze. So we talk to the guardian and try to understand their economic and social status, and try to analyze how that affects a learner or a student in terms of their education, in terms of their education level. And then we started promoting the school complex, and the teachers, whether they are working regularly or they are implementing what they learn, that's also we try to monitor. So whether they are applying the group work method, so that's what I also observe and monitor. So that's what we try to implement. So, and that's how I taking forward the work of our school complex. And we have Rishika ma'am, Moritza sir, everyone in our support, and they assured me that wherever you need any support, so we will provide our support. If there is something that I don't understand, so I reach out to them, and they are always very kind enough to support me. And we do now regular meeting at the complex. So we do meeting in our complex, and at the same time in our staff meeting we try to introduce the demo class, so how the teachers should continue their classes. So that's they also do practice. So this is how we are taking our activities of school complex. And now our school, we have 2 compartment, and we are also working for the next 2 program. We are also focusing on the 2 aspects. So we are hopeful that that will also be done shortly. Thank you very much. আপনাদের অসংখ্য ধন্যবাদ আপনার
Will help the audience to imagine the possibilities that can be explored through the school complex.
Namaskar.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Now, as we are reaching towards the end of the session, before we close out, I would just request Mr. Jatan Debbarma sir, the District Education Officer of Dhalai, to share some advice or suggestions for other states or districts who want to set up school complexes, and share with them what should they keep in mind while setting up these complexes. I would request Jatan Debbarma sir to share his responses, but I would request him to be short and crisp because we are running out of time. Jatan sir. Divya, you can go to the next slide.
I think he is absent. I think Jatan sir is absent.
Okay.
On behalf of DO Dhalai district, once again, I would like to share some advices or suggestions to those states or districts who want to set up school complexes. So first of all, I would like to say that before setting up a school complex, there should be a brief plan to ensure a maximum utilization of space and functionality so that it can provide a safe and conducive learning environment for the students. Next, in today's world, the sustainability is a crucial factor. So while setting up of a school complex, incorporating sustainable features like energy efficient lighting, water saving fixtures, and green spaces can help reduce operating costs and promote environmental awareness among the students. Thirdly, providing amenities like experience.
Ma'am, you are not
I would like
audible.
to say that
Yes.
am
Yes.
I audible now?
Yes, yes.
Involving the community, particularly in planning and development of the school complex, and promote a sense of ownership among the stakeholders. So these are the few suggestions or advices I would like to share to those who wants to set up school complexes or school complexes.
Thank you, ma'am, for sharing your responses and some suggestions for the states or districts who want to set up school complexes. I would also request Subir Mojumdar sir to share his piece of advice for the district or states who want to set up school complexes in 1 or 2 sentences.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I'd like to share some points. Actually, access the needs. Assess the needs actually before setting up complexes. It is actually important to assess the needs and accessibility of the students. Actually, accessibility of the students. This includes actually understanding the education levels as well as socio-economic status of the community. Next, I think it's teacher training. It's a very important part. The complex should provide regular training and professional development to teachers. And I think this will help to ensure that the teachers are equipped with all the skills and knowledge to deliver quality education. Next, it is, I think, technology. Now it is taking a very important part nowadays in education. So I think the complex should leverage technology to enhance the learning experiences for students, and this includes the use of digital platforms, educational apps, and online resources. And also another important part is community participation. I think the complex should encourage community participation in the education process. So this includes the involving parents, community leaders, and local NGOs in decision making and program implementations. And monitoring and evaluation is other important part. So I hope all these are the actually important points for setting up of complexes as per NEP 2020. So thank you very much for giving opportunity join this meeting. Thank you. Thank you, Rishika Madam and others.
Thank you, Subir Majumdar sir, and for sharing your thoughts with the audiences on how school complexes should be set up. Now we thank all our speakers for taking the time to speak at our events, and your insights and perspectives were truly valuable, and we were all thoroughly engaged by your presentations. Today we heard speakers share the key roles that officials at the complex, block and district levels play to ensure that complexes can lead to this improvement of schools. It was a pleasure to have you with us, and we hope you enjoyed the experiences as much as we did. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Bijan, I think Jotan sir was calling you for phone. Yes.
Oh, okay. Was he?